The Biden administration announced new regulations Thursday that give immigration officials more power to reject migrants earlier in the asylum process. The rule applies to migrants seeking asylum after illegally crossing the southern border. Officials now have the power to deport them immediately after crossing the border if they fail to pass the asylum interview process. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez joins us now from El Paso, Texas. Camilo, why were these regulations pushed now?
John, U.S. officials tell me that this is a national security and public safety regulation, not necessarily an immigration and asylum rule. And they say that because it would empower asylum officers to more quickly identify and also reject migrants who cross the border illegally and who are also deemed to pose a risk to either national security or public safety because they may have ties to terrorism cells abroad or because they have serious criminal records. So we expect the population to be affected by these regulations, John, to be fairly narrow and small. But we also have to underscore, John, that this in many ways reinforces this policy shift on asylum and immigration by the Biden administration, which, as you know, has faced unprecedented levels of migration here along the U.S.-Mexico border.
And Camilo, then by making a national security claim, is the administration essentially embracing one of the arguments that their critics have made, which is that this migrant crisis at the border is in fact a national security threat because of the kinds of people who might be able to come through in a porous border?
Well, I think, John, Biden administration officials would tell you that at its core, the crisis here at the humanitarian situation here, and the humanitarian situation here, rather, at the border is one formed by desperate people who are fleeing desperate circumstances. And it is not necessarily a national security crisis, but it does have national security implications, especially as it relates to people who are trying to evade law enforcement, the so-called gotaways, and who are not processed by federal law enforcement because we do not know what their intentions are and who they may be. And so officials are very concerned about the migrants who are trying to evade law enforcement. But again, we have to underscore that most migrants, who are crossing the border now are actively looking for federal agents to begin the asylum process.
And Camilo, you've been reporting on these considerations in the administration about even bigger restrictions on asylum with executive orders. Where does all that stand?
That's right. So beyond this regulation that was published by the Department of Homeland Security today, we also know that President Biden is weighing and considering invoking a more sweeping presidential authority to enact a broader crackdown on asylum here at the border ahead of the election in November. That authority would be known as 212F, and it has been used by multiple presidents, including former President Trump, to justify immigration restrictions. It allows, John, presidents to suspend the entry of migrants when it is determined that their arrival here is detrimental to American interests, and it would ban many migrants from seeking asylum, not just those who may pose a threat to national security or public safety. But we have been told, John, that the president has not made a final decision on this order.
And Camilo, in the 45 seconds I've got left with you, give me you've been at the border for a little over a week now. What's the current situation there looking like?
Well, there has been a dramatic shift at the U.S.-Mexico border in recent months. In December, illegal crossings soared to record levels, but those crossings, John, have dropped by over 40% in the months since. In April, U.S. Border Patrol agents recorded roughly 129,000 unlawful border entries. That is compared to 250,000 crossings in December, a quarter of a million. So there has been a dramatic drop. And U.S. officials, John, attribute that to a massive and aggressive crackdown on migration by Mexican officials on the other side of the border.
Camilo Montoya-Galvez in El Paso, Texas. Thank you, Camilo.